What's going on, guys? Welcome to my first episode of my LBA team planning videos where I'm going to build my team on Pokemon Showdown, show you guys what my thought process is going into this battle. Now, real quick, I'm going to preface this video with a couple different things. I'm recording this video the night before the battle so I can refresh everything in my head. I'm also, actually, sorry about that. My video kind of messed up. However, like I was saying, there's also going to be a little gap between week 1 and week 2. The reason why is because Rudy's going away for his birthday. So basically, we're having to do this battle about 2 weeks prior to when we should. That's so he can go away and not worry about the battle. So if you wonder why there's not an LBA battle for like 2 weeks, don't question it, just know that it'll be coming, it'll just be a little bit. So, real quick, looking at Rudy's team, he has a Azumarill, Mamoswine, Zapdos, Megalopony, Goodra, Cresselia, Tentacruel, Avalugg, Delphox, and Sceptile. Now, looking at Rudy's team, the first thing that I noticed was that he has an insane amount of physically offensive pressure that I need to worry about that I don't think many other teams will have, to be 100% honest with you. So, I honestly think that he'll be bringing Azumarill. No matter what, he's brought Azumarill to almost every single LBA battle so far that I can remember. So, I want to plan for Azumarill first, build the rest of my team around that accordingly, and I think the easiest way to counter Azumarill is with Tangrowth. Now, Tangrowth, it handles basically any hit that I can do to me except for a Choice Band to play rough, which that still only does about 30%, and with the spread that I'll be running, I can 2-hit KO him. So, that means that I'm going to run the Assault Vest. Reasons, and Regenerator, of course. Reasons being, I want to be able to live hits from other things, and my special defense is booty, booty, booty rocking everywhere, so I need to be able to live special hits from Goodra, from Tentacruel, from Zapdos, maybe, from maybe even Sceptile, if it runs like Hidden Power Fire or something like that. So, Assault Vest is basically necessary. Now, I know the moves I want to run, and that is Leaf Storm, Giga Drain, Knockoff, there we go. That was really difficult. And Sludge Bomb. Now, the reason why I want to run Sludge Bomb over, say, Hidden Power whatever, or Earthquake or something like that, is because he has Goodra. And Goodra paired up with Azumarill is basically a perfect weakness coverage. Goodra can't take fairy hits. Azumarill can. Goodra can't take dragon hits, Azumarill can. While Azumarill can't take grass type hits, Goodra can with Sap Sipper, so I fully expect him to bring Sap Sipper Goodra, so I'm going to be able to knock off its Assault Vest, and then hit him with a Sludge Bomb if I have to. So now real quick, we're going to run over here to the Pokemon Calculator. We're going to put in Tangrowth, Assault Vest, 50, and then we're going to go Azumarill. The reason why I'm calculating for Choice Band is because I want to know how much damage he can do to me. That is a crap ton of damage right there. However, if you look over here, that is also a crap ton of damage. Let me change these moves real quick to a Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb. So, as you can also see, that's a crap ton of damage. Not too worried about the 57% whenever I 2-hit KO him cleanly. So, I was really contemplating this spread. I really was. But then I was looking at this number right here. And I was like, I'm not really a fan. I never will be a fan. So let's just do that. Really helps me out. Has a chance for him to not 2-hit KO me. And it doesn't mess with my killing him whatsoever. And I still have the sassy nature to do that. However, I started looking around. And I remember him saying at one point in time that all of his Azumarills have almost max HP. So that means they won't have a lot of speed investment. If they don't have a lot of speed investment, and we're the same base speed, I'm like, hey, I'm going to run timid. I'm going to outspeed him, and I'm going to be able to kill him on the switch. If he thinks that he can take like a Sludge Bomb or a Giga Drain or something like that, I'm killing him on the switch no matter what. So this will actually be the set I'm going to run. I'm going to throw 4 more into special attacks. That way I can do a little bit more damage. And this set is a perfect counter to Azumarill. No matter what set he's running, whether he wants to run, let's see if he wants to run like Belly Drum. That's fine. I know he likes to run sub. If he wants to run sub Belly Drum, that is even better, because that means that he can only have 2 coverage moves, and that means he might bring Aqua Jet and Ice Punch, thinking that he could do this a little bit more, but you never know. So that means that it just limits his power to me a little bit more. And yeah, so I could always break the sub with Giga Drain, this, that, and the other. So real quick, let's hop over here to Pokemon Showdown. We're gonna run 252. We're gonna run 252. We're gonna run. No, don't show that battle, dear Lord. That was a battle that I had earlier against the gym leader, Star Dasher. And then we're also going to be running a Timid Nature to outspeed. Now, I know that this really kills my chances of hurting something with a knockoff, but that's fine. I don't want to hurt anything with a knockoff. What I want to do is I want to knock off items with knockoff, and that's about it. So, this thing, as I started to calculate, I was like, okay, let's see what damage is going to do to anything else and see if I need to edit anything. So, a physical attacker that I might want to counter is, say, Mega Lopunny. 50. He will not run high jump kick. I would be willing to bet my firstborn child he will run Drain Punch over high jump kick, because he is a person that is accuracy over power. Whenever you look at this, I have Giga Drain, which does more than any of his hits can do to me. So that is fantastic. This thing is also a fantastic Mega Lopunny counter. So if I need to bring this thing on Mega Lopunny, I can. I can get Giga Drain my health back. I can, whatever I need to do to get my health back, I can do it. So that's really awesome to see. Let me unlock my phone again so I can keep an eye on his team and keep calculating some stuff. So another thing I wanted to calc, just in case it came down to this and I didn't really want it to, was Mamoswine. I don't really want it to come down to this, but you know, if I needed to, I can. And looking at this, he won't be running Ice School Spirit. He'll be running Ice School Crash. Like, let's be realistic. Ice School Crash. So he can't really hurt me a whole lot. I mean, he can with Ice School Crash, but you gotta remember, Giga Drain is gonna go after that, and I'm gonna get so much of my health back. And then I also have Regenerator. So Tangrowth is looking amazing to wall his physical threats, and I can really hurt some other stuff. Like, let's look at Tentacruel real quick. Tentacruel. We're gonna go physically defensive, just for shits and gigs. And Sludge Bomb hurts. It hurts a lot. I can't do a whole lot to it. I don't want to be wasting up Leaf Storms. I don't want to do it no matter what. And then another thing I want to look at was Goodra, see what I can live. If he's Assault Vest, he's probably running max attack, max special attack. So a Fire Blast does not kill. Fire Blast does not kill. So that really means something. That means knockoff, I can do 23%. I don't want to look up 23. That's idiotic. No, don't look up 20. You're going to look up 23, aren't you? No, do not look up 23. Thank you. 23 to 27% for knocking off his Assault Vest. That really is going to be good damage. So looks like this thing is going to be putting in the finest of work for walling his team. Now, whenever I looked at his team, the one thing that I didn't like my matchup against was Mega Lopunny. I know I just said that I can wall it pretty well. However, if he wants to be cheeky and run the Power Up Punch set, he can really put in some work. And say he wants to run High Jump Kick. If he gets to +1, that's scary. That's really scary. So, I don't want to take any risks. And honestly, my team isn't super fast. Like, I have a base 115, so he could potentially just run Adamant. And yeah, like that hits pretty hard. So I want to have something that can take care of his Mega Lopunny, whether it's Jolly or Adamant, at any point in time. And my number one thing that I thought could do it would be Arcanine. Arcanine is amazing. And another thing that I thought of whenever I was making this set was the fact that Arcanine could be a stop to Fake Out. Because every Mega Lopunny runs Fake Out. It's free Mega Evolution, right? Run Fake Out. So, Fake Out. BAP! 12 to 14% free. However, let's go over here to Arcanine. And if I want this thing to stop this thing, I need it to be physically defensive, right? Exactly. So, that right there goes to show a -1 Fake Out does 10 to 12%. Which is awesome. Freaking awesome. 252. Freaking awesome that the fact that's not going to do a whole lot to my team at all. So, obviously Bulkanine. We're going to be running max defense. I'm going to be running a lot of bulk this season. I can already feel it. Let me change this to level 50. We're running max defense. So that's odd. And I think we're going to be putting the rest of it into attack with an impish nature. And this was a really easy set for me to make because I wanted this thing to do basically one thing, and that was to stop Megalopony. Now, I got to thinking, I was like, I could run leftovers, get that 10 to 12% back, and then hit it with extreme speed next turn. However, I got to thinking, and I was like, you know what, if I want this thing to stop fake out spam, I want to punish him every time he brings in Megalopony and goes for fake out spam. So, I'm going to run a Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet will give him damage every single time he uses an attack, and 1/6 of his HP. That's a lot. So I need this Rocky Helmet damage to go off on that. Now, whenever I was starting to put the moves on it, I was like, you know what, I gotta have Will-O-Wisp. He has a lot of physical threats. If I can Willow basically anything on the switch, and it'll help wear down a lot for my sweepers to come in and take care of them. So I wanted Will-O-Wisp. Another thing I wanted was I want a reliable recovery since I don't have leftovers, so I wanted Morning Sun for sure. And then looking at his team, he has Cresselia and Delphox. However, he also has Goodra, Tentacruel, Delphox, Azumarill, all to eat up Fire-type moves. So I don't want to be running Flare Blitz. I'm going to run Crunch. It'll hit the Delphox for super effective damage. It'll hit Cresselia for super effective damage. Maybe get a defense drop. So that could be really nice. And then another thing I want to run is Extreme Speed. For the sole reason that I think this Extreme Speed could come in handy for whenever I have to get off damage quickly, revenge kill something, and I want this thing to get a quick point. So this set right here is basically going to be a quick counter to basically just Megalopony, because I don't want my Tangrowth to be having to take on every single threat possible. And while this thing can't take on Mamoswine too well, it can take it on kind of well. Like, let's take a look. Mamoswine, physical attacker. Yeah, we'll go with Life Orb. Yeah, like, see, that still does a lot of damage. However, let me change Flare Blitz to Crunch. I burn it, and I'm going to go burned, and then bam. I have basically no worries in the world at all for this thing. So I think that this might actually be a fantastic way for me to deal with a couple different things on his team, along with maybe the Cresselia. Cresselia is a pain in the butt for my team to deal with. I recognize this and I need to act upon it. 19 to 22% sucks. However, get a defense drop. Bam, 20 to 33. Get a burn on it, and that's another like 8. I think it's 8 to 10% each turn on it. So it'll be wearing it down pretty freaking quickly. I just need to be able to outstall it, basically. So I don't think he'll basically bring anything except for this set with he might bring Moonblast because I do have a Hydreigon on my roster. So he might be preparing for that. Another thing that I want to look at was Zapdos. He might be bringing Heat Wave on this thing. I'm going to calc for defensive so that way I can see how much damage I'm going to do, which is absolutely nothing. And then let's look at offensive. They only have defensive as the stereotypical set. That's really pathetic, especially for a Zapdos, because look at that special attack stat. Like, that's crazy. Why would they only have that? So we're going to run Modest. And then we'll say it's Life Orb. Should have a little bit more damage. So it can hit me really freaking hard. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Let me take out this HP. So yeah, that hits me really freaking hard. It's really scary, to be honest. So I need to watch out for Zapdos on this thing. I need to make sure that I bring a good special wall. Speaking of special walls, I have one of the best monotype special walls in the game in Registeel. Registeel will be coming. He needs to have leftovers. There's a couple things that I want this thing to do. I want it to set up Stealth Rocks. I know that he does not care about hazards. I know he does not. He has said before many times that he would rather just get off power than set up a Stealth Rock. So I need to take that to my advantage. Another thing that I want to look at is with his team. He has some pretty fast mons in Megalopony and Tentacruel and Delphox and Sceptile. And honestly, even Azumarill to an extent, depending on what kind of set he wants to run. So I want to have speed control. Thunder Wave is very crucial in this battle. I think it's going to be, not Thunder, you little, Thunder Wave, there we go. I want to have speed control. And I definitely want to have Seismic Toss. Now, this thing lives any hit that I wanted to under the sun. Like, we're going to throw this thing in here. Registeel, specially defensive, 50. Heat Wave is 44 to 52%. It has a 0.4% chance to 2-hit KO, and by that time, I get off 90% of damage. And that's not counting his Life Orb damage if he wants to run Life Orb. So, that goes to show how bulky this thing is. Another thing I wanted to calc this thing with was Gudra. This thing is going to be my main Gudra answer, even carrying Fire Blast, max special attack, with no boosting no boosting item to keep that in mind. 36 to 42%. Like, that's not bad. I can paralyze and then I can seismic toss it, and then I get the advantage. Another thing I want to look at is Delphox. This thing is going to be a little bit of a problem for this, because look at that, Fire Blast is 66 to 79%. I can Thunder Wave it and get my speed control. Not a huge deal. What about Tentacruel? Tentacruel, we're going to go physically defensive just because there's no way I'm going to be running offensive Tentacruel. Like, look at that. No. Scald does 11 to 13%. Like, that's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. So, I need to keep that in mind whenever I'm going for this. So, I started looking, and then this thing was really scaring me. The more and more I built my team, this Cresselia scared the living crap out of me, because I have so many things that can't take it out in 2 hits, to where it could Calm Mind, Moonlight, and then all that type of other shenanigans. And if this thing gets to +6 special attack and special defense, it could potentially sweep me. I recognize this. I need to have an answer for it. So, I hate having to say this, especially in public, saying that I would never Toxic Stall anything, but I need to have an emergency button of some sort. If I can't whittle this down any other way, I need to have an emergency button, and Toxic Stalling it is my only way to do it. Because even look at this, if it gets to +6 special attack, a Psychic doesn't even really hurt. Like, it hurts, but it's not like it's the end of the world. He has to waste 6 turns getting up to +6. He's going to have 6 turns of toxic damage. Like, this is my emergency button for Cresselia. If I see shit going down and getting real, I send in my Registeel and I toxic the hell out of it. That is my goal with Registeel. I mean, granted, I'm not really planning too much for Delphox, but I don't think he's going to be bringing Delphox. And I'm going to have one answer to Delphox later on in the video, so we'll get to that eventually. But this essentially is going to be my wall core. I mean, I think it's a very good wall core that he can't really take down really easily, unless he has Mamoswine with Icicle Crash and Earthquake. So I need to watch out for that, and I think I need to have an answer for that. My main answer for that is going to be Scizor. Scizor with Choice Band, of course, because it is the strongest type of Scizor that there is. Real quick, let's go take a look at this. Scizor with, let's make a Scizor Choice Band. And you remember the exact speed that I ran. Let me go find the exact speed that I ran with Scizor. I think it was like 102 in speed. Let me go double check though. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go get the exact set that I needed. So, I definitely want to run Adamant Choice Banded. No doubt about it. I want to run Max Attack, that's for sure. The reason why I want to run Adamant Max Attack is look at U-turn damage. That's not even Technician boosted, so the second I put Bug Bite on it, it becomes even more powerful, and bam. Instant Crest Check. I mean, not instant, but it really does help. If he wants to run HP Fire, that's fine. That just takes up another moveset that he has to use to prepare for this thing, and it 2-hit KOs it after I 2-hit KO him. So I started looking at this thing, and then I realized that it actually outsped me. So I need to run just enough speed to outspeed that thing, and 168 speed does it, and throwing the rest in HP, which I believe is 88. Give me wait, hold on. Maybe no, it's not 88, it's 80. 80 to give me an odd number of HP, and then the rest will probably go in defense. So I think it's a 4 in defense, might be 8 or something like that. So we'll just do a 4 in defense. So this is an instant check to Cresselia to a massive extent. The reason why I say to a massive extent is because if he wants to switch in Cresselia, I outspeed, I go for a Bug Bite, and if he's whittled down to even, like, say he's at 75%, this has a fantastic chance to OHKO it. So that really does matter to me. So real quick, this is basically all that I wanted this thing for. I don't need it to outspeed much else except for this, because that's all it really can outspeed. And, yes, we're going to throw those stats in, I want it to speed creep. Oh, 50. I wanted to speed creep, I think it was 106. 106. At 68. Right, yeah, 168. 252 in attack. 80. And then 8 in defense. This gives me just enough to outspeed this thing that could potentially sweep me, and also it also gives me a chance to outspeed uninvested Goodra, which will be huge to think about whenever you think about the fact that he thinks that he can outspeed me if he's uninvested. Not a big deal, because most Scizors don't run speed at all. They run max HP, max attack, just to live hits. However, he wants to think that he's going to get bopped real quick by a Bug Bite. It's just how it is. Or if he gets down to a really low amount of health, Bullet Punch will kill him. So Goodra is kind of one of like an added bonus to checking this. Also, instant Mamoswine check. Instant Mamoswine check with Bullet Punch. Azumarill. We'll go over here to Choice Banded. I outspeed him, and I hit him harder than he'll hit me with Aqua Jet. However, if he wants to go for Waterfall and predict the hell out of me, that'll be scary, but you know what, it's whatever. Megalopony. Bam, 62 to 75%. This thing hits like a freaking truck. So this just goes to show that this thing will be in a massive, massive revenge killer, to say the least. And this thing is not defense invested, so if he's not defense invested, that says a lot. We'll go Tentacruel as well. Physically defensive, just to see how much damage we can do for the worst. Knockoff does a decent chunk, but the rest of it doesn't do anything. So this thing is... Tentacruel will be his main check for Scizor, I would assume. So with that being said, I think we figured out our moves. We have Bullet Punch for priority. We have U-Turn to get initiative. We also have Bug Bite for massive power. And then we're always going to carry Knockoff just because it's a safe bet to have. So this thing will be insane, and I think I honestly think that this thing will tear his team apart if he's expecting that he can just kill it with a HP fire here or there. So keep that in mind whenever you're watching the battle, that I'm planning on having this thing be a revenge killer. No matter what, if something gets down to low health from Arcanine, Will-O-Wisp, or Toxic, or Thunderwave Seismic Toss, bam, send in Scizor, Bullet Punch dead. That's my goal. So I have a revenge killer. And to have a revenge killer, you also need two things that can punch through walls like freaking trucks. And the first thing that I have, Hydreigon. Now, remember how I said that the freaking Crest was really scaring me? This is another thing that I want to have to really kind of sort of scare him away from bringing Crest and setting up with it. So, Cresselia stays defensive. 50. Now, this is not the set I want to run whatsoever. I want to hit like a freaking truck. So I'm going modest. Not only am I going modest, I'm going modest 252. Not only am I going modest 252, I'm going modest 252 choice specs to hit as hard as I possibly can. Now, one thing I said I need to watch out for. That is scary. That is terrifyingly scary. So, however, looking at this, I can knock it the hell out. It'll be freaking awesome to get that much damage off on a Cresselia. And then another thing that I want to do with the rest of my EVs is if he wants to be really cheeky and go Goodra, and he wants to run max speed timid Goodra. I could see him doing something cheeky like that. I could really see him doing something cheeky like that. I want to have just enough speed to outspeed that, and I believe it's 220 that I need to outspeed it. Yeah, 220. 220 is perfect to outspeed it, and that means that we're throwing 32 into HP, and bam, we have our instant whole Puncher, Draco Meteor, comes in on Stealth Rocks. It's insane. Like, look at that, 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 look at that. Bam! 87.5% chance to OHKO with Stealth Rocks up. That's amazing. So, granted, he can OHKO me back. I'm well aware of this. I outspeed though, and unless he's running some sort of scarf thing, if he does, kudos to him. I could actually see him doing that, which is kind of scary. So, another thing I wanted to look at was Zapdos. Zapdos can't really do a whole lot to me unless he has Hidden Power Ice, and Hidden Power Ice doesn't do a whole lot when Draco Meteor knocks it the hell out. So that says a lot. That just goes to show how many holes this thing will punch. The moves, I knew I wanted these two to begin with. Knew for a fact I did. However, I also want to have U-turn, because I want to be able to get initiative if I don't like my matchup and I think that he's going to make a prediction switch. And then another thing I want to have is I actually want to have Hyper Voice. What? Go ahead, somebody asked me why I want to have Hyper Voice. Well, I'll tell you. The reason why I want to have Hyper Voice is because he likes to run sub on the most random of things. And if he wants to run sub on Megalopony, I mean, hey, he's faster than me. I don't see why he wouldn't want to. Goes behind the sub, 2-hit KOs it. That's my thought process behind Hyper Voice. I know how he plays. I know how he likes to run a sub. So that matters a lot to me. And another thing I want to check is freaking Tentacruel. So he's a support set. Dark Pulse doesn't do a whole lot, but Draco Meteor does. So that is going to be very helpful knowledge to know whenever I'm facing this thing, because it can't touch me whatsoever. If he wants to run Ice Beam, that's fine. Ice Beam. Ice Beam. 37 to 44%. I can drink that up and I can hit him with a Dark Pulse, do the exact same amount of damage, and then get the heck out of there for chip damage, or what have you. Doesn't really matter to me. Hydreigon punches holes through the team. Now, that being said, let's go over here and we're going to give him the Choice Specs. Choice Specs, Levitate, Draco, Dark Pulse, Hyper Voice, and U-Turn. And then I wanted 220, 252, and then 32. Let's bring this down to level 50. And bam, we have our instant hole puncher. Wait, let me give him Modest Nature. Instant hole puncher. What can he do to me? Not a whole heck of a lot, especially not on switch-ins. He doesn't have many switch-ins for this at all, so this thing will come in very clutch. I'm expecting Hydreigon to put in the work this game. If he doesn't, I might have to kick his ass. So I'm going to throw 4 in defense just because we can. So the last thing that I'm kind of worried about is this Tentacruel. To be 100% honest with you, Tentacruel kind of sort of scares me, so I need something that could either A, spin away its Toxic Spikes just in case he wants to be cheeky and go a completely different route than what I've ever expected him to do. So we're going to be bringing a Rapid Spinner in the name of Starmie. Starmie is clutch, Starmie is Bay. I want to be bringing an Expert Belt Starmie. And I also want to be bringing Analytic. I don't want Natural Cure, even though I think he could run Toxic Spikes. I want to run Analytic, because if he thinks he has a switch in, surprise, you don't. So I know the moves I want to run. I want to run like a bunch of coverage moves for his team. Scald, Ice Beam. We're going to run Psyshock. And then we're also going to run Rapid Spin. So the reason for these moves, it hits so much of his team super effectively. It hits Delphox, it hits Zapdos, it hits Mamoswine, it hits Megalopony, it hits Tentacruel. It doesn't hit, basically, it also hits Delphox, it also hits Sceptile. It hits a lot of his team super effectively. So that basically means that he doesn't have a whole lot of switch-ins, especially with the EV spread I want to run. So with Starmie, I want to thank you, D-Train, for talking me out of doing this idiotic play that I was going to do. I was going to run 50 speed EVs. About 50 speed EVs, because that allows me to outspeed, like, timid Goodra or something like that. However, looking into it, Zapdos kind of sort of wrecks it. So, having an Expert Belt Psyshock on Tentacruel, if he's running max defense, Yeah, see, it won't Oko, but it'll do a shit ton of damage. I actually think he might actually be bringing especially defensive good Tentacruel, so that really is going to be a good call for me. So, what I wanted to do was I wanted to outspeed the two big threats that I haven't really covered yet, and one would be Delphox, and the other would be Zapdos. Thank God, Delphox is faster than Zapdos, so I'm not going to be running Scald. No, I'm not going to run Hydro Pump. I'm going to be running Scald. Scald. Bam, still kills with Expert Belt, so that really says a lot. Now, in order for me to outspeed, I need to be running, I think it's 172 speed EVs. That brings me 1 point higher, and that's all I need, and then the rest can go in HP. So let's go ahead and throw that over here. I want to be able to speed creep him, so 172, Timid Nature. We're going to run 252 in Special Attack, and then the rest is actually going to go into HP. I don't know why you didn't stop me at 84, dude. You should have just stopped me at 84. So that actually really does help a lot, because the only free switching he has in this thing is Cresselia. Everything else gets hurt so badly by this type of Starmie that he can't switch in it a whole lot. Even something like Azumarill. If he's Choice Banded and not Assault Vest, like, Psyshock still does a good third of his health, so he needs to watch out for that. So, I'm pretty positive that this team will be doing a whole lot of work. I don't see a whole lot of holes in this team that he can take care of. I don't see a whole lot of things that he could really do to hurt me. I don't really see a whole lot of problems with this team in general. So, that is where I'm going to wrap up this video. 32 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like if you're excited to see my thought process when building a team more often. Also, make sure to leave a comment down below and tell me what your favorite member of my 10 LBA team members is. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you guys later. Peace!